My dear brothers and sisters, not everyone who is close to you wishes you well. Some people smile at you, sit with you, speak kindly to you, yet deep in their hearts, they are uncomfortable with your peace, your growth, and your closeness to Allah. Islam does not teach us to be naive in the name of kindness. When certain signs appear, Allah wants you to protect yourself quietly, wisely, and without guilt. Sometimes the harm does not come through open hatred, but through subtle actions that slowly drain your energy and disturb your heart. You may feel confused, exhausted, or unsettled after dealing with certain people without knowing why. This is not coincidence. This is awareness Allah places in your heart. Today, we will reflect on the signs that Islam warns us about, so you can protect your faith, your peace, and your future. 1. When a person constantly belittles you disguised as advice. My dear brothers and sisters, Islam values sincere advice because true advice is meant to heal, not to hurt. It is meant to guide, not to embarrass. When advice comes from a clean heart, it is delivered with mercy, privacy, and genuine concern for the other person's dignity. The Prophet ﷺ never corrected people by exposing their flaws in front of others. He protected hearts even while correcting mistakes. That alone should teach us the difference between sincere guidance and silent cruelty. However, there are people who repeatedly belittle you while hiding behind the label of honesty. They point out your mistakes in gatherings. They laugh while correcting you. They highlight your weaknesses in front of others and then excuse their behavior by saying, "I'm only being real," or "I'm just trying to help you." My dear brothers and sisters, this is not advice. This is humiliation disguised as concern. When correction is public and repetitive, when it makes you feel small rather than supported, it is no longer about your growth. It becomes about their ego. A person who truly cares about you feels pain when you feel embarrassed. They worry about your feelings. They choose the right moment, the right words, and the right tone. They speak privately because they want to protect your honor. But when someone enjoys pointing out what is wrong with you, when they seem satisfied watching you feel uncomfortable, it reveals something deeper in their heart. It shows pride, insecurity, or even jealousy. Islam teaches us to be careful with such people, not because we are better than them, but because repeated humiliation slowly damages the heart. Over time, constant belittling makes a person doubt themselves. You begin to question your worth, your decisions, and even your intentions. This is dangerous because Islam wants believers to have dignity, confidence, and self-respect. Allah created you with honor. He did not create you to be emotionally crushed in the name of patience. Patience does not mean allowing ongoing disrespect. Patience means responding with wisdom, not self-destruction. My dear brothers and sisters, Islam does not command you to remain in spaces where your dignity is slowly being chipped away. You are not required to laugh along with disrespect. You are not required to explain yourself endlessly. Sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Sometimes the most dignified action is distance. Limiting access to those who repeatedly hurt you is not arrogance. It is self-preservation. Protect yourself quietly. You do not need arguments. You do not need announcements. Reduce conversations. Reduce exposure. Leave Allah to deal with what is hidden in their hearts. Silence here is not weakness. Silence here is wisdom, strength, and trust in Allah. 2. When they are happy at your pain but uncomfortable with your success. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the clearest signs of what lives inside a person's heart is how they respond to your moments of pain and your moments of success. A sincere heart feels sadness when you are hurting and genuine happiness when Allah blesses you. This is natural, this is human, this is brotherhood and sisterhood in Islam. But when someone reacts differently, when their behavior changes depending on whether you are rising or falling, this is something you must pay attention to. There are people who listen very attentively when you speak about your struggles. They nod, they ask questions, they stay close when you are broken. But the moment Allah lifts you, the moment something good happens in your life, they become distant, cold, or uncomfortable. They stop celebrating with you. They minimize your achievement. They change the subject. Sometimes they even remind you of your past failures, as if to pull you back down. My dear brothers and sisters, this is not concern. This is jealousy quietly wearing the mask of friendship. Islam warns us about envy because envy begins in the heart and slowly poisons relationships. A jealous heart cannot tolerate seeing Allah's favor on others. Instead of turning to Allah and asking for His mercy, such a person allows resentment to grow. They may not openly harm you, but their discomfort speaks louder than words. A heart that is uneasy with your success is a heart that is struggling with sincerity. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that we should love for our brother what we love for ourselves. When someone cannot be happy for you, it shows that this teaching has not settled in their heart. This does not mean you accuse them or confront them aggressively. Islam teaches wisdom, not drama. It teaches awareness, not hatred. My dear brothers and sisters, when Allah blesses you, protect that blessing. Not everyone deserves front row access to your good news. Sometimes silence preserves peace. Sometimes privacy protects relationships. You do not need to announce every achievement. You do not need to justify Allah's favor in your life. Gratitude is shown to Allah first, not to people. If someone consistently seems comfortable with your pain but uneasy with your progress, take it as a sign. Reduce what you share. Guard your heart. Continue to make dua for them, but do not allow their inner struggle to become your emotional burden. Protect yourself gently, without hatred, without pride, and without guilt. Allah is the one who gives. Allah is the one who tests hearts. And Allah is sufficient as a witness over what people hide within. 3. When they constantly twist your words and intentions, my dear brothers and sisters, one of the most painful experiences is not being misunderstood once, but being deliberately misunderstood again and again. Islam teaches us to speak with good intention and to assume good in others, but it also teaches us to recognize patterns. When a person repeatedly twists your words, changes your meaning, or assumes the worst about your intentions despite clear explanations, this is not confusion. This is a choice. You may speak gently, yet they accuse you of arrogance. You may express a concern, yet they label you as negative. You may set a boundary, yet they portray you as ungrateful or difficult. Each time you clarify yourself, hoping for understanding, but the misunderstanding continues. My dear brothers and sisters, at some point, clarification becomes emotional exhaustion. Islam encourages dialogue when there is sincerity on both sides. But when someone is committed to misunderstanding you, no amount of explanation will satisfy them. Their goal is not clarity, their goal is control, blame, or justification for their own behavior. They twist your words so they can avoid looking at themselves. The Prophet ﷺ endured false accusations with patience, but he also taught us that not every accusation deserves a response. There is wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Constantly defending yourself drains your peace and distracts your heart from remembrance of Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, when you notice that your words are always being used against you, protect your tongue and your heart. Reduce unnecessary conversations. Speak only what is necessary. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts or explanations. Silence does not mean you agree with falsehood. It means you refuse to wrestle with injustice. Allah knows your intentions even when people choose not to. He sees what is in your heart. Even when others twist your words, leave your reputation in the hands of Allah. Protect yourself by stepping back, not by fighting back. Distance here is not coldness. Distance is clarity, wisdom, and trust in divine justice. 4. When they repeatedly cross your boundaries and then mock them. My dear brothers and sisters, Islam is a religion of balance. It teaches kindness, generosity, patience, and forgiveness. But it also teaches self-respect, dignity, and limits. Boundaries are not against Islam. In fact, boundaries are part of wisdom. They protect your heart, your time, your energy, and your relationship with Allah. When someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, this is not a small issue. This is a serious sign that must not be ignored. You may politely say no. You may calmly express discomfort. You may clearly explain what you can and cannot tolerate. Yet there are people who respond by laughing at your boundaries. They mock you. They say you are too sensitive. They accuse you of changing. They guilt trip you by reminding you of the past. My dear brothers and sisters, this behavior is not innocent. A person who truly respects you will respect your limits, even if they do not fully understand them. When someone ignores your boundaries again and again, what they are really saying is, my comfort matters more than your peace. This is dangerous. because it slowly trains you to suppress your needs just to keep others comfortable. Islam never taught us to sacrifice our mental and emotional health to please people. The Prophet ﷺ himself set boundaries. He withdrew when needed. He chose silence at times. He did not allow people to repeatedly harm him emotionally or spiritually. Some people become angry when you set boundaries because they benefited from your lack of them. They were comfortable when you were always available, always forgiving, always silent. The moment you begin to protect yourself, they feel threatened. So they mock your boundaries to make you feel guilty enough to remove them. My dear brothers and sisters, do not fall into this trap. Guilt is often used as a tool by those who dislike limits. Islam teaches us that patience does not mean self-betrayal. Forgiveness does not mean unlimited access. Mercy does not mean allowing continuous harm. There is a difference between overlooking a mistake and allowing a pattern. Allah is most merciful, yet He has limits. He sets boundaries, He warns, He gives signs, and when those signs are ignored, consequences follow. This alone should teach us that boundaries are not cruelty, they are justice. When your boundaries are mocked, the best response is not argument. Arguments feed ego. Arguments create noise. Islam teaches dignity. Quiet firmness is far more powerful. You do not need to explain yourself repeatedly. You do not need to justify your healing. You do not need to convince anyone that your peace matters. It already matters to Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, protect yourself by standing firm without anger. Reduce access to those who refuse to respect your limits. Choose calm distance over emotional exhaustion. This is not arrogance. This is maturity. This is wisdom. And most importantly, this is obedience to Allah's command to protect the heart He entrusted to you. Remember, the one who truly values you will never mock your need for peace. And the one who mocks it is revealing exactly why distance is necessary. 5. When they encourage you towards sin or pull you away from Allah, my dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest dangers to the heart is not open hostility, but subtle influence. There are people who do not openly tell you to abandon your faith, yet through their words, habits and presence, they slowly pull you away from Allah. Islam teaches us that companionship shapes belief. The heart is soft and what surrounds it leaves an imprint, whether we realize it or not. You may notice that whenever you spend time with certain people, your remembrance of Allah decreases. Your salah becomes delayed. Your language changes. Gossip becomes normal. Complaints increase. Gratitude fades. At first it seems harmless. You tell yourself it is just company, just conversation, just laughter. But slowly the heart drifts. My dear brothers and sisters, this is how spiritual damage often begins, not with rebellion, but with distraction. A person who truly loves you wants goodness for your akhirah. They remind you of prayer, not mock it. They respect your values, not pressure you to compromise them. But when someone encourages you towards sin, laughs at what Allah has forbidden, or makes you feel uncomfortable for choosing obedience, this is a clear warning sign. Even if they claim to care about you, their actions say otherwise. The Prophet ﷺ warned us about the company we keep, comparing a righteous companion to a perfume seller and a bad companion to a blacksmith. Even if the blacksmith does not burn you, you will leave with the smell of smoke. My dear brothers and sisters, no one remains unchanged by constant exposure. The heart absorbs what it repeatedly encounters. Some people make sin feel light. They normalize disobedience. They say Allah is forgiving while encouraging behavior that displeases Him. Yes, Allah is most merciful, but His mercy is not a license for deliberate wrongdoing. True love for someone means helping them move closer to Allah, not further away. When someone consistently pulls you away from worship, from reflection, and from humility, they are harming you even if they do not intend to. Islam does not command us to hate such people. It commands us to be wise. Make dua for them. Wish them goodness. But do not sacrifice your faith on the altar of companionship. Protecting your iman is an obligation. No relationship is worth losing your connection with Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, sometimes distancing yourself from certain people feels painful. You fear loneliness. You fear being misunderstood, but the peace that comes from drawing closer to Allah is far greater than the temporary comfort of harmful company. When you choose Allah, Allah chooses you. When you protect your faith, Allah protects your heart. Guard your environment, guard your influence. Choose companions who remind you of Allah without words. And if someone repeatedly invites you towards sin or away from remembrance, take it as a sign. Step back quietly. Protect yourself gently. Your akhirah is worth more than anyone's approval. 6. When your heart feels heavy after every interaction with them, my dear brothers and sisters, Allah has placed wisdom within the human heart. Not every warning comes through words or events. Sometimes the warning comes as a feeling. When you leave a gathering feeling drained, unsettled, anxious or emotionally exhausted every single time, do not ignore that sign. Islam teaches us to reflect, and reflection includes listening to what the heart experiences. A healthy relationship brings calm even during disagreement. A sincere connection leaves you feeling lighter even after serious conversations. But when a person consistently leaves your heart disturbed, confused or restless, something is wrong. You may not be able to explain it clearly, you may not find obvious words to describe it, yet the heaviness remains. My dear brothers and sisters, this is not imagination, this is awareness. Some people carry negativity within them. They complain constantly. They speak badly of others. They judge, compare and criticize endlessly. Even if they are not directly attacking you, their presence alone fills the space with tension. Over time, being around such people weighs on the soul. You begin to feel tired without effort. You feel uneasy without reason. Islam does not ask you to drown in this heaviness in the name of patience. There are also people who emotionally drain you by making every interaction about themselves. They unload their problems onto you but show little concern for yours. They create emotional dependence, making you feel responsible for their moods, their happiness and their stability. My dear brothers and sisters, you are not meant to carry burdens that Allah did not assign to you. Compassion has limits. Even the Prophet ﷺ withdrew at times to protect his spiritual strength. When your heart constantly feels unsettled after being with someone, ask yourself an honest question. Does this interaction bring me closer to Allah or further away? Does it increase my peace or steal it? Does it strengthen my faith or weaken it? Islam encourages us to seek tranquility because tranquility supports worship, gratitude and patience. Some people confuse heaviness with loyalty. They think enduring emotional discomfort proves love. Islam does not teach this. Love in Islam is rooted in mercy, not misery. Allah does not want your heart to be in a constant state of disturbance. A disturbed heart struggles to remember Allah. A burdened heart struggles to be grateful. My dear brothers and sisters, protecting yourself does not always require confrontation. Often, the most dignified choice is quiet distance. Reduce time, reduce exposure, reduce emotional investment. You do not need to announce your reasons. You do not need permission. Allah knows what your heart carries. Make dua. Ask Allah for clarity. Ask Him to remove harmful connections gently. When Allah places heaviness in your heart as a pattern, it is often His mercy warning you before greater harm arrives. Trust that warning. Choose peace. Choose stability. Choose Allah. Remember, the heart is the vessel of faith. Guard it carefully. Anything that consistently disturbs it is not meant to stay close forever. My dear brothers and sisters, Islam is a religion of mercy, but it is also a religion of wisdom. Allah does not ask you to destroy yourself emotionally in the name of patience, nor does He ask you to remain in situations that slowly harm your heart, your faith, and your peace. There is a difference between being patient and being harmed. And Islam teaches us to recognize that difference with clarity and dignity. When Allah shows you signs through people's behavior, through repeated patterns, and through the state of your own heart, these are not coincidences. These are warnings wrapped in mercy. Allah does not remove harmful people suddenly without reason. Often, He first opens your eyes. He allows you to see, to feel, and to understand. And once understanding arrives, responsibility follows. Protecting yourself does not mean becoming cruel. It does not mean cutting people off with anger, insults, or public drama. Islam teaches us quiet strength. Sometimes protection is simply distance. Sometimes it is silence. Sometimes it is choosing not to explain yourself anymore. Allah knows your intentions even when people misunderstand them. He sees the pain you chose not to speak about. He sees the dignity you preserved by walking away calmly. My dear brothers and sisters, when you choose peace for the sake of Allah, Allah replaces what you leave behind with something far better. A lighter heart, a clearer mind, a stronger connection with Him. Do not fear losing people when Allah is protecting you. What is meant for you will never miss you, and what harms you was never meant to stay. Place your trust in Allah. Guard your heart. Protect your faith. And remember, sometimes the most powerful act of self-respect is quietly stepping away and leaving the rest to Allah. May Allah grant us wisdom, strength, and hearts that choose peace over pain.